poetry, and this will be presented by Dr. Shahryar Danishgar from the Department of Central Eurasian Studies.
Thank you, Suzanne. Left my glasses behind. Anybody has a spare?
Reading glasses. Reading glasses.
We were carrying too many. Thank you. I hope I become a scholar like you. That is helps me. Thank you. If it were that easy to wear glasses, become a scholar like Stemkevich. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I have a slight title for this poem, and that is called The Unheard Voices. Usually when we have poetry nights, usually we talked about poetry in Arab culture, in Turkish culture, Iranian culture, and sometimes Central Asian cultures. But many of these countries, they have other nationalities who have written in their languages, but unfortunately the world knows very little of it. And that is the case of Azerbaijanis in Iran. One of the greatest poets, I would say, of the 21st century undoubtedly is Muhammad Hossein Shahriyar. He was known as the king of the ghazal, odes, in Persian poetry. Most of his work is in Persian. And many people know about his work, but what made him famous was his short poem called Haydar Baba. This is the name of a mountain very close to the city of Tabriz, where he grew up there, and then he dedicated this poem to his people. And the reason that he wrote this poem is that it was on the request of his mother. Muhammad Hossein Shahriyar, he grew up in his village, studied in Tabriz, the capital city of Iranian Azerbaijan, which was the capital of the Safavid Empire. He moved to Tehran. He was a talented person. He was accepted to the medical school. He started a couple of years of studying there, and then all of a sudden he fell in love with a beautiful girl. He was very taken by that. And the parents of the girl were not willing to give it to him. It's sort of the story of Romeo and Juliet, Layla and Majnun that we hear here. He was so upset about that he gave up his studies of medical school, and he decided to become a simple clerk working at one of the ministries. And then he was very sick, and the mom really took care of him. He was about to die. The fact that mom did not know a word of Persian, they lived in Tehran, and the mom said, "Son, these poems that you read to me don't make sense to me. I don't understand that. Why didn't you write in a language that I understand? My language." This is Turkish Azerbaijani. So he takes upon himself this challenge, and he writes this poem, which has become very famous. It is very melodic, and it has been translated into many languages. And I just want to make the scholars and people who are studying the literature of the Middle East that they should not only focus on the major languages, that is Persian, Turkish, and Arabic. These are classical languages that we know from before the Jahiliyyah time until now. But there are other groups that we really want to see what they have to say. And this poem is by him, and it is so famous that it has been put into music. I want to play a short music by a famous Azerbaijani artist. Can you get it? cannot see the performance on the stage. But I want to read it again. I just discovered last year that somebody at the University of Michigan has translated the entire poem. It's beautiful. And I delved into that years ago when I wrote an article presented at the Middle East Studies Association conference, and I got lazy, I never finished it. I think I'm so happy to see that someone else has done it. The importance of this poem is that there are like 72 rubaiyat, is that this is actually like I would say a 19th century painter of Europe. The poem paints the life of the village where he comes from. He talks about every aspect of it. Actually, this poem equals the folklore of Azerbaijani people in Iran. I'm going to just read a few things here. This is my translation because we couldn't get it into the actual poem. Okay, it goes like this. Heydər Baba, Heydər Baba, ıldırımlar şaxanda, sellər sular şaxdıldayıb baxanda, qızlar ona səhv bağlayıb baxanda, salam olsun şövkəti zəhrizə, mənim də bir adım gəlsin dənizə. Heydər Baba, when lightning spread in every direction in the sky, floods and water flow roaring, and thy girls formed lines to observe this spectacular scene, saluted be the people and thy greatness. Do not forget my name, O Heydər Baba. Heydər Baba, Heydər Baba, nənə qızın gözləri, rəxşəndənin şirin sözləri, türkü dedim, oxusunlar özləri. Heydər Baba, the eyes of Nargis, Rəxşəndə and her sweet words, I wrote in Turkish so that they can read and understand. The poet really talks about the rituals there, the mosques there, and the Nowruz celebration, and the visits of the brethren coming from the northern Azerbaijan, and the trades that they have between south and north. They would go and bring goods and share it with everyone in the city. There is another verse here, it says, I wish I had the actual translation there, we could look at it here, but I don't have all of it here. It says, upon the release of Shahriyar's poem, the event exploded. These are the words of many artists who wrote about him. Upon the release of Shahriyar's poem, the event exploded like a bomb and caused a major commotion in the cultural circles of Azerbaijanis. Heydər Baba Salam breathed a new life into the dying body of the Azerbaijani language, and this time pens began to write poems on the papers in the mother tongue of Heydər Baba. It says, Heydər Baba, Mələk Niyaz, Vərəndilin salardı, atın çapıb qaçdan çalardı, qırğı təkin gedib başını alardı, dolayla qızlar açıb pəncərələrə, nə gözəl mənzərə. Again, this is like a painter tries to use his brush to paint the village life of Azerbaijani people there. I'm sorry that we could not get there. I had my website that we could see both the script in Azerbaijani and the English. I would definitely provide the center and the department to post this here. I would recommend everybody to look at that. This is a beautiful poem, and I was very happy that I shared that with you because we know very little about these languages. I'm sure that the Kurds, they have their own poems, but we know very little. Or Assyrians, or Baluchis, or Turkmens in Iran. We hardly know about them because these languages are completely either ignored or by the authority of those societies. They just make them to become silent. So I thought to present at least the voice of 25 to 30 million Azerbaijanis in Iran who do not have their own school's mother tongue, and they are subject to assimilation every day. And I think it was time to hear the voices of unheard people. Thank you for your attention.